Well, there's our intro. All right. So before we start this video, I need to have a serious moment with all of you. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed, you need to hit that little subscribe button right there. I have a reason though this time. Instead of just making the numbers go up and making me and Steven's dopamine triggers count, we need to hit 100 because at this point, Broken Axle has been around long enough where we can actually have a custom URL minus the fact that we're down about 46 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you like us, you think I'm attractive, you think Steven has a funny laugh, hit that little subscribe button, hit the little bell every time we upload, you'll hit it, a little ringling. It's going to be a good time. And then we can get a custom URL.
But yeah, it's aside from a couple of Euros, I guess, and the one Lexus. I don't think there are such a thing as nice luxury coupes anymore. And it makes me sad because it was an interesting subclass of cars that I think had a great place. And for a whole multitude of reasons, consumer stuff, I think the SUV was a big part of that. Small luxury SUVs are now the status symbol / comfortable cruiser for people that don't have any need for practicality. Or maybe people are just more interested in practicality now than they used to be.
Well, they're also...
I don't know.
It might also be a combination of the times we're seeing into, because they saw that performance did sell, but at the same time, people can't afford just pure opulence vehicles, because the consumer market right now for a personal luxury CUV, I'll call them, because they're not really SUVs, is huge. Everyone's making them. Everyone's making them from the bottom all the way to the top. However,
sure.
the luxury coupe, if you will, that's not a Roadster or Miata. Yeah, you're right. Is absolutely almost all but gone, and at this point, it's super expensive. Or just buy Miata. It's super expensive to get into one, and then the reason is why. We saw a DBS at Winter Park in Colorado, and it's a fantastic car, but it's the price of 2 Ferraris.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, I would say in the under 30 grand mark, like there's not anything.
No.
I can't think of a single coupe.
There's not going to be anything anyways.
Oh, there's a lot of cars.
30 grand is the new 20 grand, so...
I mean, sure, but like I can't think of a single coupe of any kind. Not even just that, like...
No.
And maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Maybe it's not just personal luxury coupes. Maybe it's just coupes in general have died. There used to be a lot of cheap...
Yeah, I mean...
A lot of cheap cars came in a coupe variant or in a two-door. Like a lot of two-door hatches and stuff were common.
Yeah.
Look at the Corollas from back in the day. Like rear-wheel drive Corollas. So way back in the day. But the W bodies, there's a lot of stuff that used to come in two-door. Just two-door variants, right? You could get your car in, two-door, four-door, wagon, hatch, whatever. And now that's not common. You're pretty much down to sedans, and even sedans are dying out in the cheap market. You still have the expensive sedans.
Yeah.
Who killed the coupe? That's the question of the day, right?
It's the same people who killed the wagon.
Is it? You think the old coupe guys are now the ones buying CUVs?
It's the consumers.
Well, sure, but is it the same consumers? Is the question.
Yeah.
Like 100% the people that should be buying wagons,
I think,
bought CUVs instead. 100%.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the market. It's the market who says, hey, to get into any sort of decent vehicle nowadays, it's $40,000, and you can't afford, a personal luxury vehicle, coupe, and then you can't afford a family vehicle either. And if you are single, or if you're, recently married with no kids and you want a personal luxury vehicle, you're going to jump chain all the way up to a $100,000 vehicle. And I don't think there's a market for either.
Hmm. That's probably true. I don't necessarily think though the
Yeah.
people that the people that would have or should have been buying coupes are the ones that bought CUVs now. Like I'm not seeing that. I'm just not seeing the sell there, you know. But I guess we should ask the question of
Mhm.
why were people buying coupes in the first place?
Right.
Like
Because they were making money. It was cool.
coupes are cool. I think
And what's cool nowadays?
that is 100% the root thing, right? Because you can go back through
Hmm.
dozens of cars, and in all but a few cases, the coupe looks cooler than the sedan. Almost every time. There's a
Hmm.
few exceptions to this, but those are definitely the exception. And maybe that's the thing, right? People used to care about having the cool looking version of the car. I mean, look at the muscle car situation, right?
Hmm.
Sedans versus coupes in the muscle cars. The price gap is massive. And it wasn't like when they were new,
Hmm.
it was not a huge price gap, a few percent.
Yeah.
And now on the used market, obviously they've all gotten old, but the two doors hold a significant price premium over the four door variants. It's funny, that's actually mom's actually started looking into. I mean, I knew about some of the history, but I started looking into the history of them because that was what mom's looking for in the T-Bird
Hmm.
before she knew she was looking for a T-Bird.
Yeah.
But
Right.
a personal
Did she
luxury
know that
coupe.
she was looking for a personal luxury vehicle either?
No, she just was describing what she wanted in a vehicle, and then I started breaking that down into
Right.
various aspects.
Mhm.
And then we were talking with her. She was talking about like all these things that used to be it was a subclass of cars that for her
Yep.
her growing up, or I guess having her adult life of buying cars and being into cars was all through the 70s and 80s.
Hmm.
And personal luxury coupes were
Hmm.
a normal thing. Like people drove them,
Yep.
typically either young people without
I
kids
think.
or something like that.
Yeah. Or I really think it's based on the economy. If you have excess money, you just go out and do stupid stuff like that. And not everyone's
I don't know, man.
0 to 60 horsepower monger, right?
I just don't know because like with the inflation scaling, I don't think cars are actually that much more expensive than they were then.
I don't. I agree with you, but I think it's everything else in life has gotten expensive. Like everything. Well, you know, in the 70s, we didn't all have laptops, and we didn't have video game consoles, and we didn't have $300,000, $400,000 phones. That could be it too.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before,
Um,
right? The whole like, cars got expensive, and I'm like, but did they though? I really don't think they did.
yeah. And the price per performance has gotten a lot cheaper, right?
Oh yeah, by huge margins.
I did that. I did. I did the 396 Chevelle in the 70s versus a base model Scat Pack RT, or not Scat Pack, but a base model RT in 2018, and the dollar per performance is drastically different. It's the equivalent of buying like a $5,000 car in the 70s, right? It's dirt cheap,
Yeah.
but the performance metric is through the roof.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is like what would have been the hottest of the hot, 446
Hmm.
pack cars, double four barrel cars, stuff like that,
Hmm.
is performance wise
Hmm.
equivalent to these days the base models.
Thank you so much for listening to the Broken Axle podcast. If you enjoyed us, please leave a comment and like and subscribe for more.
And if you want to help us out, we've got a new merch line. You can check the links below and follow our social media at the Broken Axle Podcast.
And you can find me on Instagram at nomadic.wheelman.
And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Just Can't Drive 55.
For the rest of us, hug your kids and call your mama.
And go bust some knuckles.